Good morning, y'all. It is September 4th, Labor Day weekend. Yours truly, Drake Swift, Tori Sportsmouth, Alex Sportsmouth.
We're swapping names today.
I got sports mouth today.
Yeah, so we're here with author, Renaissance man, David Weatherly. Welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. So, when we were off air, I was talking to him about so many different things, Bigfoot, UFO. I think as a child, growing up in the 70s, I was pretty intense. Like when you would think about Bigfoot, you're like, oh my God, is it real? And when we're sitting here, I was talking to David, he's like, no, he's real. So, we talking about the famous film that he said, I think, what'd you say? One gentleman was still alive, David?
Yeah, that's you're referring to what's commonly known as the Patterson-Gimlin film. It was captured in 1967, area called Bluff Creek in California. And two gentlemen, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, were trekking out into the woods looking for this creature and caught a very brief segment on camera that, it's easy to see online if you look it up, if you haven't seen it by chance. And it's a pretty famous clip. It's something that's been very controversial over the years because a lot of people have come in and tried to add to the story over time to try to say, oh no, it was faked. I know it was, and so forth. But really, when you get down to the core of the story, you listen to these two gentlemen and you look at the footage, it's pretty convincing. One of the gentlemen, Bob Gimlin, is still alive. Really great guy. I know Bob. He's, kind of an old cowboy. And to hear him tell his, memory and story of that day, it's pretty convincing. Over the years, you get a sense of when somebody's being authentic and when they're not. And to listen to this guy, I mean, he's genuine.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can just imagine his memories.
I know you've traveled all over the world looking for different things, haunted houses, UFOs, Bigfoots, Sasquatch, whatever you want to say. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience? Because I know you said you've done it since you were a teenager. What made you want to do this?
I was I was born in the 60s, so I grew up in the 70s, and I do have one brother, but he's 10 years older, so he had moved out, by the time I was really in my teens. And as a result, I kind of grew up as an only child. I grew up in a rural area of North Carolina. And I think in a sense it was, I don't know, maybe it was my way of rebelling or doing something different. I was a fanatical reader. I read like crazy when I was young. I still do. And I got interested in unusual things. I was interested in ghost stories and accounts of other strange things. But bear in mind, we're talking the 1970s, and it was, it wasn't plastered all over television. It wasn't a hip thing. My joke that I always tell people is that when I got involved with this stuff, if I went to a party and told people what I did, I was guaranteed a nice, quiet evening alone. Because, back
kind of
then,
like me when I was gonna say, when I tell people I'm a wrestling fan, still they look at me like nuts. But yeah, I hear.
They're like, "Oh, this weirdo."
Right? Yeah. So
Same.
you get this, you get this experience where people are like, "Well, stay away from this guy. He's asking about ghosts and UFOs and all this weird stuff." So, but now it's the polar opposite, because if I go to a party and tell people what I do, there's a line out the door because everybody has a story to share.
Right, you're the most popular person there.
Yeah. So it's really, that's kind of a reflection of the change in how popular culture has accepted these topics. And it's been interesting for me to watch that evolve over the years. But yeah, I mean, I got interested when I was a kid, and I often say that what you're supposed to do finds you as much as you find it. And, things just kind of synchronized when I was young and lined up and introduced me to a lot of things that kind of spurred me on. And of course, it was difficult initially, but when I was growing up, I investigated local legends in my area. And then, of course, as I got older and began to be able to travel, I continued, seeking out these things eventually all over the world. And I feel like I've been very blessed to pursue my passion, but there's the old adage from Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss and everything else falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see that, from the 70s where you were kind of alienated to now where it's kind of pop culture, right? You see it in the movies now, now the government has, we talked and government has said, hey, yeah, there's something out there, but I don't know what it is. So see that evolve. Are you pretty surprised how much pop culture that and in the media and the general media that you see, hey, you know what? This stuff, people are really talking about it. And yeah, I've been investigating it forever and it does exist. Are you pretty surprised that we're at this point?
At the moment, I'm not. And I don't think I ever was actually, because I guess I sort of saw it evolve, and once these topics were more connected to the entertainment industry, things kind of took a turn. And part of that, of course, is reality television.
Right.
A lot of people point that out as being a big part of why it's a component of pop culture now. But realistically, we could go back a little bit further than that, because if we go back to the 70s and look at, for instance, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? Spielberg put this out there. I mean, this was something that was eye-opening for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and
groundbreaking.
Yeah, it really was. And, he drew on a lot of original source material and, experiences. And when you look at that film and the aftermath of it, UFOs became a big thing. I mean, people tend to forget now, but for instance, in the late 70s and early 80s, there were a lot of magazines, newsstand magazines, that were covering UFOs.
Yeah.
And, magazines like True and Saga and Argosy, all those magazines, they did UFO, versions of their magazines. So they really were hot topics back then. And that's a big part of the evolution of this. I think that gets ignored a lot of times, because people, when they look at it now, they say, well, it's part of pop culture because of, like the ghost hunting shows on television.
Right.
That's a part of it. And that caused a different step forward, but it's really not the beginning point.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay. So I get a question. Pre-COVID, I know there was it's like Comic-Con, there was like a UFO thing. I think it was here in Arizona, wasn't it? I think it was. Did you ever go to these like conventions and all that? Is that sometimes you get some of your material from?
Oh, sure. I mean, I've spoken at a lot of conferences around the world. In terms of accounts, yeah, I mean, you never know where people are going to approach you. Of course, now I'm a bit more of a known name, I guess. So, people will contact me frequently online or through social media and so forth with accounts. But, I started this stuff old school. And when I started collecting people's experiences, it was the era that I call the PG era, which is pre-Google. You couldn't pull up the internet on your phone. There was no internet. You had to do this. You had to do this weird thing. You had to talk to people face to face.
You had to communicate, huh?
You had to go there. You had to talk to them.
That's right. Yeah.
You actually had to interact.
Yeah. So I mean, back in my early days of investigating this stuff, I would often go to areas and check out, coffee shops or the local bars. I mean, you just strike up conversations with people and kind of, make sure they're comfortable and wind your way around to strange things. And it's amazing what kind of accounts you can get, and sometimes it's people who are very adamant that it's all BS. Except,
there's always a but, right? Always a but,
right? Yeah, but So I mean, I've had people. I remember I was in a bar in Arizona. This is, God, I don't know, must have been the 80s or something. And, I was talking to some people and was talking about one topic. I can't remember what it was. It might have been UFOs or something. And, wasn't really getting anywhere. And after a few moments, this guy at the end of the bar says, there ain't no such thing, flying saucers and little green men and all that. And he was kind of cantankerous and sitting there and drinking his beer. And, we exchanged a few words, and then here it comes, but I'll tell you what is real. So, that might be a great Bigfoot story or something.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
So I got to ask you, what is the craziest story you ever heard that you were like, you know what, this is actually real? From aliens to Bigfoot to...
Wow.
But one that sticks in your head, really. I mean, I'm sure there's so many endless counts of them, but there that are. You just had that moment where you're like, holy shit.
Well, there's a really famous one that has had a little bit of controversy lately, and it's right there in Arizona. It's the Travis Walton abduction.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys know this story or not. It was made into a movie called Fire in the Sky. And happened in the Sitgreaves National Forest. A group of guys were out working, and the short version of the story is that they were leaving for the night. They saw this light in the sky, and one of the gentlemen, Travis Walton, jumped out of the truck and ran over to it, and he vanished. He was, he's taken up in this beam of light, and he was. Right off the top of my head, I don't remember how many days it was. He disappeared. He was gone for several days. And in fact, the authorities investigated. The authorities thought they were dealing with a murder. And they grilled these other guys, up one side and down the other. And then Travis mysteriously reappeared. And the story was he had been abducted into an alien craft. And it's probably one of the most well-known UFO stories at this point. And it's certainly a pretty stunning one because of the personal experience. Now, I know Travis. I've known him for years. And
that was my next question.
Yeah. And, the thing is that I distinctly remember a moment. I don't remember where we were. We were both speaking at a conference. Might have been New Mexico. But I just remember getting some time and the two of us sitting in this room by ourselves. And it was just one of those moments when Travis started talking. And it was pretty powerful. And of course, I won't repeat a lot of what was said because it was confidential. But, it was one of these situations where I got this very almost a moving, experience from it, knowing that this is a man who experienced something otherworldly that most people are not going to comprehend or understand on any level.
And he survived it.
Ever.
And he survived.
Incredible.
So in 1975.
Ooh, goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona in the White Mountain.
Yeah.
So
that's the movie that made me believe a believer as a teenager. I seen that movie twice at the theater, and I was like, and then I remember seeing the actual interview when he was on. I believe he was on. I know he was on a bunch of talk shows, but I think it was Phil Donahue. I think he was on, or Aldo back in the day, and that's what really shot it out there. But I was a believer after that story for sure.
Did he give David? Did he give you any encounter like what they actually looked like? Describe them.
I mean, he details it quite a bit in his book, and it's kind of a standard, small alien gray type of creature that he experiencing, as I recall. But he had some problems with that film with Fire in the Sky because he felt like it was not quite as accurate in terms of what he actually described seeing. So he has since had a movie done himself about his abduction. And, I have to look that up if you get a chance and check it out.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see his version.
There's so many interviews and stuff you can go on and watch with him. And, this is someone who clearly experienced a pretty significant trauma and eventually had the guts to come out and talk about it openly.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people say, oh, he made the whole thing up. He's trying to get rich or whatever. Travis hadn't got rich from this thing.
No.
And, a lot of these people that come forward with these stories, they end up really, in a sense, suffering more than they do benefit.
Alienated and like you mentioned earlier, the way you were treated back then.
That's right.
His coworkers he was with know, though. I'm sure that there's no denying on that end either, especially after drilling them for murder or thinking that they hurt him. Man, I can't wait to see his version. That's amazing. I'm going to look that up when we're finished here.
Yeah, it's great. It's good.
So I know you said that you released Copper State Monsters, and I didn't know that Arizona used to be that was referred to. So can you tell me a little bit about this book?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Copper State Monsters. Copper State, for those who don't know, is an old nickname for the state of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys have noticed, there's several of these state books out now. I think I'm up to number 7, number 8's coming out probably in the next couple of months. And this series, what I'm doing with it is taking an individual state and covering the cryptids that have historically shown up in that state. And what I wanted to do is sort of a modern cryptozoology book with a flair of an old-fashioned sort of bestiary type of thing. So
brilliant.
I cover the folklore. I cover Native American accounts all the way up to present day. With each state, I try to find something that's sort of unique or distinctive for the cover. So the cover of the Copper State book, you'll see a giant leathery winged creature. That is a thunderbird. And there's a very famous story in Arizona about a thunderbird that was purportedly killed in 1890 around Tombstone. So that kind of is the highlight. That's kind of the highlight of the book. And of course, it covers lots of other things, plenty of Bigfoot sightings in Arizona, which a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh, Arizona's all flat desert. There's no Sasquatch
right.
there.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes,
no, they're here.
Oh, yes. And lots of other creatures, too, some various strange things that have shown up and even known creatures that are a bit more on the cryptid side, like, for instance, killer bees. You probably remember growing up in the 70s, there was a whole craze about killer bees. Everybody was terrified that, we were going to be swarmed and all die by, millions of stings. Right. And
the birds, when I watched, oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, when I watched The Birds with my mother, that scared me when you watched it, maybe 9, 10 years old. But that movie was.
Imagine the killer bees.
That's a classic right there too.
Well, in the 70s, there was a movie called Swarm that was all about killer bees invading, I think, Texas. But so yeah, that was a big panic in the 70s. But the thing is that these things actually are real. They're Africanized honeybees, and they are very deadly. And in fact, someone just died recently from a killer bee attack. So there are problems with these things, and there have been some fatal attacks in southern Arizona from these bees because they build these massive hives, and they are extremely aggressive. I mean, they'll chase people down, and they're just
in swarms, obviously.
Yeah, they swarm them. So it's a brutal way to die, I think.
Wow. But I'm always that person. I'm like, don't kill the bee. He's doing a job. Leave him alone. I'm gonna be the one who gets stung.
So I got to ask you a question because this is a kind of Hispanic, I guess, folklore. Is the chupacabra a real thing?
So the chupacabra is a bit complicated in terms of cryptozoology because, first of all, you have 2 versions of a chupacabra. The original one that was dubbed a chupacabra showed up in Puerto Rico. And this thing is truly creepy looking. If you guys have never seen a depiction of it, it's bipedal. It's a few feet tall. It's has sort of an alien head with these huge bulging eyes, these spikes that come off the spine that run all the way down, and little almost like dinosaur arms, stick out.
It reminded me of a villain from like the Ninja Turtles movies or something. When I first seen it, I was like horns and fur and
scary.
Definitely one of the weirdest things out there.
It's probably one of the weirdest cryptids out there. And that one, there was a rash of reports in Puerto Rico, and in the aftermath of that, in the midst of all these reports, tons of stories rose up to kind of explain what these things were. Some people thought they were some kind of alien. There were all kinds of conspiracy stories attached to it. Oh, it's a government experiment. It came from this secret base. There's all these. Yeah, there's all these different tales, for what these things were. So that's the first chupacabra. And then the second version of the chupacabra, which you find all over the Southwest, is actually a canid. And this creature, if you see depictions of them, they're sometimes called Texas blue dogs. And they are, some people think they look like coyotes. Some people think they look like wolves. They're usually have no fur, this leathery skin. There's a woman who actually shot one on her property in Texas. And, some testing and so forth was done on it. Now, these things, essentially are a hybrid creature.
Yeah.
So what happens is a lot of times people are spotting canids with mange. And, if you've ever seen any animal that has mange that loses all its fur, it's a bizarre looking creature. A lot of times people can't identify something that has mange because it looks so different. I had someone send me a photograph at one point. They were sure they had some kind of weird cryptid, that they had seen in their yard, and it turned out it was a bear with mange. So it was a very strange looking creature.
I bet.
Bear with a
not a cryptid. So
I've seen a coyote with mange, and it doesn't. It's completely different.
Yeah.
He looks like a big ferret or something. What is that?
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you can just imagine the scenario. You hear a noise one night and go out to investigate what's going on. What's around your chicken pen or something, and you shine a spotlight on something like that. It's probably going to be a
what
freaky
you're going to see.
Right.
Really freaky. Really
I don't want to see no eyeballs. That's for sure. No red ones.
So
I'm so bad. I feed all the creatures. I'm so bad with it. The coyote with the mange. I made my son. I was like, here, throw him some chicken. My son's like, really? I'm really about to be attacked. I'm like, you'll be fine. Just throw him some chicken. He's hungry. I try to feed him all.
So I know we talked about Bigfoot, but my question is, and I think I remember seeing something, it was on TV or whatever, and I think they were investigating the Bigfoot. It says, why, I guess the question is, and maybe you can answer this, it says, if Bigfoot is real, why haven't we found any bones from Bigfoot?
Why haven't we found any what?
Bones.
He's immortal.
Well, it's funny because skeptics constantly jump up and down and say, well, it can't, we would know if Bigfoot was out there.
Right.
And, it's funny. I had a question. I was on a panel at some point, and somebody in the audience who was a skeptic asked, how come no one has found any Bigfoot scat? And, my response was, how many people are out looking for that? And how would you identify it? So the thing is that, of course, people commonly say, well, we've discovered everything that's out there. Now, let's back up and consider a few facts. One, most of the populace in the country lives in a major city.
Right.
Sasquatch is not going to come strolling down Main Street or across the interstate. It's just it's not really going to happen. These are intelligent creatures, and the thing is that I tell people, I say, look at a map, and often use as an example, look at the state of Utah alone. Utah is intersected by two major interstates, 15 that shoots right up the middle and 80 that goes across east to west. And if you look at the stats for Utah, most of the populace lives along those corridors. Utah's a big state. Yeah. There's a lot of vast outdoor area. Right. How often do you think that every inch of that outdoor area sees human presence? Right. Just doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
So, there's plenty of space for these creatures to be well concealed and for them to not be seen on a regular basis or even discovered. It's something you have to consider when you're looking at a creature like this, because you're talking about something that has a level of intelligence that is probably well beyond, say, a bear or a mountain lion. And, I frequently ask people, I said, well, how often have you seen a mountain lion?
Right.
How often is a mountain lion found dead on the side of the road?
Yeah. Not ever.
So, these are intelligent creatures, and the encounters are pretty rare. And if you sort of stripped away the historical evidence of mountain lions and people just started telling these stories, it would probably sound like BS, right? Oh, come on, a giant cat stalked you for 24 hours? I don't believe that. So you have to sort of kind of flip the switch and look at things from a different direction when we're talking about these types of creatures. I've personally talked to forest rangers countless times over the years, and one of the standard questions I ask them is, how often do you find a bear carcass or a mountain lion carcass? And it just doesn't happen. So we have the factor of, well, these creatures, if they die in the forest, the earth reclaims things very, very quickly. There's a fascinating video I think you can see online if you're interested. It's a little bit not quite gross, but it's from the old series Monster Quest, and they did a time lapse video with a deer carcass staked down in the forest to show essentially how quickly all signs of it are gone, because you have predators, you have insects, and you have decomposition and other environmental factors, and in very short order that entire carcass is gone. There's no evidence.
That'd be interesting to watch.
I seen it. I watched all of those. I was very upset when they discontinued the show. I love those. That was my favorite show.
Yeah, it was a great show.
So you investigated so many different people's experience. Have you had your own experience?
Oh, yes, lots of them. There's the old adage that when you start peering into the void, things eventually start looking back. So I think that, if you look into these things enough, eventually you attract the attention of something.
Poke the nest.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
You poke it enough times, things will come out right. So
my son wants to he's trying to get me to go squashing with him so bad. I said, I'm like, ooh, you got me a little nervous. The other one, when we moved to Arizona, he's like, can we go have lunch at Area 51? And I said, how do you know about that? He's like, please. So whenever he was bad, I said, you know what? Pack a lunch. I'm dropping you off with the aliens. You're going today. And he's like, okay. I tried to use it as a punishment, but it didn't really work for me. He was excited to go.
Right.
No, cool. I know you investigated ghosts. Is there, I guess the $1 million question is there something out there? And you coming across some of these probably encounters and ghost stories, is there really actually ghost spirits that kind of chilling until they go to the afterlife?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that there's sort of two versions of it, however, because I think that there are spirits that are conscious, if you will, that are aware of their different state of being, as we might put it.
Okay.
But then the other factor that explains a lot of ghost stories, we term it residual hauntings, and these are essentially recordings. So if you think about something that is so dramatic or traumatic that it, is whether it's a murder or death or something similar that is emotionally very powerful, it has the potential to leave an impression on a place, whether that's a building or a spot outside or whatever it is. It can leave an impression that sort of acts as a recording, and that recording can be triggered by different things. There's various theories about this. One of the most popular is an old theory called the stone tape theory, and this idea that stone that is high in quartz content can record those types of impressions, and something causes them to replay, to be triggered. So you think about some of the famous old castles, for instance, in Europe that were made of these massive stone blocks. And, they had some legend attached to them, right? The lady in white that goes down the hallway every, May 1st and turns and walks into a wall and disappears. So these types of things are likely residual hauntings. They're recordings that are somehow activated, whether it's on the anniversary of the incident or whatnot. And for some people, this sounds a bit out there, but you stop and think for a moment. What do these things operate on? Quartz crystals.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
There's a lot of potential, a lot we don't understand about things like quartz crystal and what they can do and so forth. So I think that explains a lot of hauntings. I think that we sort of go down the rabbit hole if we start talking about how to explain them in a broad sense, because there's not a singular explanation. I think that's actually one of the things that people mistakenly try to do when they get into the field. They want to find a singular explanation for a phenomenon, and doesn't always work that way. So when we talk about hauntings, I mean, we can talk about things like residual hauntings that are recordings. We can talk about the trauma of someone who maybe has unfinished business, who does indeed stick around in spirit form and chooses to not cross over all the way. And these are not new ideas. Cultures around the world believe that there is something beyond this physical life, that there is an afterlife, and you hear different versions of it depending on which culture you're dealing with, but they're all very similar. It's more modern Western science that says, nope, when you're dead, that's it. There's nothing, there's nothing beyond this. And, you just have to kind of say, well, sure. Okay. If that's what you want to believe, but there's a lot of evidence otherwise.
So I know there's probably good spirits and bad spirits. Tori recently lost her son, and I know we had this conversation, and she couldn't find her key to the house, and all of a sudden it appears. So do you think that spirits are able to manipulate actual life and say, oh, here's the key, Mom? You know what I mean? Like, you think they're able to do that type of stuff?
In some cases, I believe so, yes. Yeah,
absolutely. No doubt about it. It was him. There's no doubt about it. It appeared on my couch, in the center of my couch, and there's nothing on my couch, right? I keep my house fairly clean. I've searched for, I'm searching, and I step away to go grab sandals to go outside to, maybe it's in my car, and it's sitting on the center of my couch. I'm like, oh my God, this really just happened. And this is like the third thing that this has happened with, where it's like, there's no way it was there. We've searched, tore up, moved, in and that, like, it, what? So I'm recording it all. I'm here for it all.
That's great. Yeah, there's some cultures that believe that when a loved one crosses over, that they stay around in spirit form as sort of a guardian angel in order to watch over their loved ones that are still here. And those kind of experiences are typical for things like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think things happen sometimes, and you're like, I know it wasn't there, and all of a sudden, boom, it was there.
Yeah.
You were looking for it. And Alex had recently lost his dad. Alex, have you had any of those type of experiences since your dad passed?
Yeah. And you know what? And I believe I knew it was him too, because my father's cremated, and obviously he's in the house. And I was trying to connect with him. I tried to connect with him in little ways. So one day I played my dad used to play like 2 lottery numbers, so I took over those numbers and I'd go play them every day. And one day I came home and I put them in the drawer where he would put his numbers sometimes. And I actually hit that day. And but it was like 2 things that had happened. There's a bunch of pictures sitting there, and when I left the room, I mean, these pictures have been sitting there for a long time, and they've never fell. So I took maybe 2 or 3 steps, and I heard a picture fall, and I just went back over there. As soon as it fell, I'm like, I'm thinking about them. I'm trying to connect with them in some little way, so in my own way. And when I walked back into the room, the picture that fell was there's 7 pictures up. My picture is the only one that fell flat face first.
Mm-hmm.
So I set it back, and I said, I said a little sign, I miss your dad, or something like that. I said, but yeah, and that's happened a couple times. So I thought I heard him once, maybe 2 or 3 times, and like clearly, like I could hear his voice. So yeah, that's happening.
So did you
embrace it?
I'm a ghost spirit chaser personally. Like I'm very fond of Jerome here. I'm friends with the mayor now in Jerome. Like I'm going often. I'm looking at, I got the spirit box and I'm all of it, right? I'm out in the middle of the field in the middle of the night in a cemetery, dancing with spirits on this machine. Like it's out there. That's where I'm at with it. So I'm trying to channel my son at any moment I can. I've always got candles burning in my home. I'm doing spells. I'm doing the whole 9. I'm here for it all.
Jerome is very haunted. I've spent a lot of time there.
Extremely haunted.
I've never.
I have another trip coming up soon.
Nice.
Yeah. I go drinking with the mayor now. We're hanging out. We're best buds. We tour of her house. Like, you guys got to come with me. You will love it, Drake and Alex. I'm telling you, it is the most incredible place. And every time I go, I experience something different. I always go to the cemetery. I have certain grave sites that I visit and speak with them. But I go to the old high school and go inside. I will not. The only place I won't go so far is the girls' locker room. I feel very strongly about not going in there. There's something that's so strong and present at that door that I just, I won't go in there. But I've been all over the other places, and the history of it is just incredible.
I wonder why Rome is haunted like that. I mean, I know they got the haunted hotel. Have you stayed in there, Dave?
Oh yeah, lots of times. The Jerome Grand, the Connor downtown is actually haunted too, which is down the hill. Gosh, there's so many spots there. I mean, there's the restaurant,
the jail, the sliding jail, the haunted hamburger.
There's an event. Now, I haven't been in a couple of years. I don't know if it's still standing or not, but there's a really small house that was formerly a bordello where the Cuban queen stayed, and that's very haunted around it. So it's a really cool place. I mean, it's one of these historic old West towns. Of course, mining was big there, and it was a boom town that had lots of rowdy miners and cowboys and prostitutes and everything else that went on. And there's different factors. I mean, it's in a sense it's a little bit isolated. It's 5,000 feet up, on the mountain. I mean, some of the houses, you look, and the back of the house just goes right out into sheer nothingness. And
trying to drive there, trying to turn your vehicle around on a street. Every time I'm like, okay, this is where we're going to die, guys. Just hold on. The vehicle is going to tumble.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make this turn.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Drum Grant was a hospital at one point, the old part of the hotel. And you just have a concentrated area that had a lot of very dramatic experiences, lots of high emotion, lots of people seeking their fortunes. And, I think that in a sense, it sort of concentrates that emotional intensity and leads to some of the things that you see, the modern accounts of. There's also the whole factor with mining. And typically, this is something I have found around the world. When you go to mining towns, they tend to have a lot of very strange stories. Now, what's fascinating is that when you go to Europe and you talk about that, they'll say that, well, the process of digging into the earth itself kind of stirs things up and awakens things and causes different effects. So, here you've got Drone, which, had very deep, sort of copper mines. And, pulling all this metal out of the earth and what else was coming up out of the earth at the same time.
Yeah. And then add in the fact of how many times it burned down and it was rebuilt.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's all part of the whole, the experience and the intensity.
And all the death that, from the mining and the Spanish flu and all of the things that rolled through. And there was a lot that was awakened on that mountainside.
Absolutely.
So, David,
I love it all.
I appreciate you coming on. Can you tell us what's coming next for you? I know you said you got a lot of. You're going into your busy season. What's coming out? Can you tell the listeners, viewers?
Oh, let's see. Nothing has officially been announced yet. What I usually do is debut the covers. You guys have seen some of the Cryptid State series I've been working on. Yeah, that's the latest one.
Yeah.
That's Montana. Monsters of Big Sky Country.
Yes, I'm halfway through it, and it is amazing.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes.
Right before that one was Peach State Monsters, which covers Georgia. So there's another one in this series, another state coming out probably in roughly a month and a half, and then another one right behind that. There's a haunted series that I've been co-authoring with a friend of mine. The next one in that has been announced. It's haunted amusement parks. That should be out
on
there. Snap.
Yeah, I've seen that on there.
Yeah,
do you have, I was gonna ask. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna ask. Is there any, I've seen some of your videos on the actual website, but do you have any? Is there anything else on? Well, if I go to your YouTube, any a little smaller, little bit longer documentaries or anything like that I could watch. About anything actually.
There's not a whole lot at the moment that's up. If you go, there's actually a new streaming network that I've had some involvement with. It's called Scare Network TV, and it's original programming. And I've actually done a few things with them. If you look at their streaming channel, there's a documentary about the Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina that we did. There's a couple of investigations of haunted places. There's a few what we call local legends, which are just short pieces about some of the folklore. There's one on there about the mermaids in the Cape Fear River. So
I like the mermaids.
Bunch of stuff.
I love the mermaids. The mermaid stuff is really, really fascinating. That's so one that I'm 50-50 on. But it's and once again, I'm such a movie fanatic. I seen Splash as 8 years old. I was like, oh my god, they're real. They're
Oh,
real.
they're
Since then, you're hoping to
Daryl-
find a mermaid, right?
Yeah,
Right?
like Daryl Hannah had me all corrupted in so many ways I can't even imagine. I was just like, oh my goodness.
You're like, I want to rub her fin.
But I loved that movie when I first seen that. It was so real to me, you know, obviously, and then the way they made the movies back then. But that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Before you get off, I have one more question. Your filmography, The Lord of the Rings, was you part of that? I just want to make sure I got the right. Okay,
That's a different David Weatherly.
Okay, I just wanted to double check because I found 2 different things on you when I was doing some research, and I just wanted to, and I kind of figured that because when I kept diving, I kept going down that hole. So, awesome,
man, you don't need Lord of the Rings. You got them beat with all.
Yeah, you got your own
man.
Real life.
Were you right? You real life Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Well, like I said, David, thanks for coming on. I got to tell you, I love
thank
your
you so much.
I don't know where
love it.
I was like, that
is there anything to that chair, or is it
very
just
fitting?
See it and like it, and you know.
Oh, I just liked it. The desk that I'm at is haunted, however. So.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, I have a lot of haunted items, and this one's a haunted banker's desk.
Oh my god!
Wow!
Oh wow!
That's sweet.
So I would love to hear about the haunted items in your house.
To reach out to you, give you a story, give you an experience. How do we find you? I know where I can find you on your website or your email, your Instagram. How do we find you, Weatherly?
Yeah, eerielights.com. You'll find all the information there. There's a contact page. I love to hear people's, accounts and stories. So please feel free to send them through there. And that goes directly to me. So I'll hear your account. There is an Eerie Lights Facebook page, and there's also an Eerie Lights Instagram. Those are the best ways to, of course, the website and Instagram, probably the best ways to keep abreast of what's coming out and what's going on.
Like I said, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, David. It's been such a pleasure. I can't wait. I know, right? And I am excited for this haunted amusement park book coming out. I'm really excited.
Hey, great talking with you guys. You have a good day.
You as well.
You too. Thank you.
Holiday. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was awesome.
There's just so much.
So many rabbit holes to jump down, man. And now I'm going to go to Jerome, and then I'm going to message David. We're going to send me and him and the mayor are going to message him.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I want to stay at the hotel there. Every time I try, it's like super booked.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to book a while in advance. And I wanted to go for Halloween this year, but just had a lot of stuff going on. So
he's got on his website.
He's incredible.
A 3-day event that he did in 2019 from May 31st to June 2nd, and it was a Bigfoot camping adventure. I was like, wow.
When was this?
It's on the site. If you go on the site and scroll all the way down, Eerie Lights, you'll see it. It was in 2019, but yeah, there's just so much stuff on there. I was reading about the winged humanoid
totally
in
something
Chile.
Dominic would do. He would love that.
Yeah, if you go to the website, or you go all the way down and read the featured articles down there. There's a few articles down there. The Eureka werewolf, like I said, the winged humanoid was like a crazy story. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I love it.
The Cryptids and Legends Montana. Some of it I'm like, wait, what the fuck did you just say? I gotta reread that again. Yeah, definitely got to get the one in Arizona too. And he's talking about the Thunderbird. I live by Thunderbird Mountain. I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely get a few of those books.
He's brilliant.
I wanted to ask him about the monster.
I know so many. I'm like, man, I got so many questions.
Yeah. I seen all those monster quests. Man, I watched them twice. Some of them, the Loch Ness and the Bigfoot. Those were the best ones done to me. Like, just amazing though. But I seen the one that he was talking about with the deer, how they did that for you know,
the decomposition.
yeah,
Decomposing.
Some of the skeptics, I never seen a Bigfoot bones, and I'm like, okay, that's a good question, you know.
He had a good point though. Like
who's going to look for a Bigfoot bone? I mean, like,
or Bigfoot
you know,
scat.
it's easier. Look, one thing I learned watching all these you know, documentaries, it's easier for them to get to us than it is for us to get to them. So if they wanted to. So
I know that's right.
So
no, there's so much stuff. It's hard to deny the things, you know, the sightings and all of that. It's once you start digging, like he said, it's very hard to deny it. And when you start digging stuff, things start to arise.
Yeah,
so.
and you read people's stories, and it's like, you know, they're just coming out plain and simple. They're not, you know, like I read the one about the what was it, the dog man or whatever, and these two girls, they went into it was in 66, I think, or something like that, and they went into the sheriff's office, and the sheriff and them were laughing at them like, oh, let me guess, this and that, so, you know, cracking jokes, and they were like horrified, terrified, and stuff like that. But I don't know. I believe it all.
I have an acquaintance who has a podcast, and she covers everything that's haunted sightings, right? And then she goes and she investigates them. And she had recently said to me, when you come home to Detroit, do you want to go have lunch in a haunted jail cellar underground? And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, we can drink wine there. I'm like, I don't think I want to get drunk there. After I drink wine, I can't fucking run.
Run.
Like,
you should
maybe
go on
vodka, but wine and me, I'm not running. I'm hanging out with the ghosts at that point. You become one of them.
You should look up his podcast. I was listening to a little bit of it. Untold
Radio.
Yeah. I'm about to start from number 1.
Right? Here we go.
Wow. Yeah, I found everything.
We're all
off the
sucked
website,
in now.
Yeah. The Fire the Sky movie he talked about it. That was crazy.
Alex, you need to come here and we need to take a trip to Arizona.
Oh yeah, I
definitely
want to do that. I definitely want to go visit
for real,
all of that
for
stuff
real.
you guys talked about.
All of it. You're gonna be like, this
is
fucking amazing.
I'll be scared as hell, but it's okay.
It was cool because when I had went, you know, whenever I go, you get this, like, you know, paranormal equipment,
right? And
I think it's called like a it's like electromagnetic field detector, right? But and NPR or something, and it's hooked up to a laptop, or not a laptop, a tablet, and it shows.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Frequency,
I know
right?
what you're talking about. Right.
I got video of them touching
like the Ghostbuster thing that they used to hold up, and it would.
Yeah, and so it literally, I have video of it. My girlfriend
like
was
what they would use on the ghost hunters, right?
Man, so we're out in this field where they used to mine, and next thing you know, you see one come up from the ground, right? It's like they have it like fluorescent green, so you can see it, right? And the other one is like touching me. So I'm in the middle of the field. I'm like, hey, I'm talking to them. I'm like, I'm here. It's me. We're cool. And they're touching me. And they're like, man, I got to send you the video. It's the craziest thing.
Cool. When did you do that?
Dominic, too. This was just a few months ago, the last time we went. Okay. Yeah, the last time we went. And so they were, you know, like, I'm like, Dominic, they like you. They're like jumping on his head and they're on his foot. There was 2 of them.
Wow.
And we would take turns going out and standing in the middle of the field and recording it. It's like midnight, pitch black out there. All we got is our little recorder and this machine and a flashlight, and we're out there talking with the spirits. That was pretty fucking cool.
Man,
cool.
Really fucking cool.
That's awesome.
All right, well, we'll get into the show. So I'm not lazy. Michigan Jobless Funds, the system for months. Your benefits will be cut September 4th. So what do you think, Alex? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people going back to work? Unemployment benefits
if they
want.
If they want, I mean,
You think they want?
Yeah, I mean, people already knew about this like 3 months ago, I believe. Anyways, so.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's gonna be a lot. You know, gonna be a lot of motherfuckers to be like, yeah, I gotta
well, they're still getting unemployment for the ones that are normally collecting regular. I mean, unless you're on the pandemic, they're just not getting the extra 300.
They're just not getting the
their
extra
money.
300.
Oh.
Yeah, they're still getting regular unemployment.
Right.
They're just not getting the extra pandemic.
And I don't see nothing shutting back down again. Period. I don't see that now.
No.
I don't see that happening. I think that now with there's that new variant. That I read a small article last night that they were just saying that they're taking taking it serious, but it doesn't seem like it to be like it'll hit as hard as the other one did. What was it called? The first variant.
The Delta.
Yeah, the Delta. So I mean, I just feel like I don't see us doing it. I feel like we're just going to have to. It's on our shoulders, like we've always talked about. I mean, I think some places should probably shut down if need be, but I really don't see it because of more people getting vaccinated and just I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I've talked to
what
a
do you
few
guys
friends
think
who
about
are.
that?
I talked to a few friends who are business owners, and several of them feel like they're banking on a shutdown. Like it's it's coming. They're preparing for it.
Right.
So
I just think it'd be so devastating to so many more businesses the second time around. Like, and like I don't see all of that us going back down that going down that horrible.
I think with
hole
winter coming, we have to be realistic with the cold weather and certain things that I feel that they're going to see a spike before they see it go down again.
Which they said,
look what's happening right now. I don't think that we're really going to be on the up until spring. But again, if there's one thing we've all learned, that there's nothing that's be able to be predicted in this situation, because everything we've predicted has been completely opposite.
Right. And that's kind of what I mean by it. Like, I feel like we're kind of just going at it. Like, look, we got the vaccinations. They're setting protocols for certain things. And I just feel like we're kind of going to go at it, be forced to go at it head first and just protect ourselves, wear a mask and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be against it shutting down, because I'm one of them people that is like, I'm okay with it, but I just don't want to see nobody else getting sick and passing away. So whatever prevents that, I'm all for.
I was telling Drake the other day, I met somebody online and they're a doctor. I friend requested him. I was like, I'm interested to hear what he has to say,
the video,
and he had some really good, comments on somebody's feed. They were talking about, vaccinations and this and that. And he said on there, being an ER doctor in New York, he said, I have yet to intubate one person that's been vaccinated, and I intubate at least one person per shift.
Wow.
And that says a lot, right? He said, I absolutely, intubate one person per shift. And, you have to understand that never in the history of ever has there been a vaccine that has been 100%, a cure.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. There's so many variables in people's chemical makeup and their, their situations and all that and so forth, that it all varies, whether it's from age or malnutrition or immune system or, previous illnesses or conditions. So everybody who's like, oh, you're going to get it, you can still get it, you can this and that. Well, yes, but the difference is that you have a huge chance of surviving this compared to being intubated. And when he said, I intubate one person per shift, and he did say, he said, someone said, I think we have the right to choose. And I thought his answer was brilliant. He said, I believe everybody has the right to choose when it comes to their medical health and, medicine and all that. Even if it's the stupid choice, I still believe you have the right to choose. And he also said, it's just getting harder to be empathetic. I'm getting less and less empathetic when you're in my resuscitation area and during my shift, knowing that you are choosing not to, help yourself and your fellow human. And I couldn't, agree with him more.
It's like, why are you fighting it? They're trying to put a little something in your body.
We said it. Don't fight science. There's things to fight, and he did have a point. Every situation is different. Everybody, their body is different. But if you're healthy, you don't have pre-existing conditions, your age isn't a factor, all these different things, your nutrition is good, this, that, whatever, he named them all. He said, why are you fighting science, compared to these are statistics, and he's a very statistic driven person, and he's a doctor, scientifically brilliant young man. I was like, wow, I kind of trolled him a little bit, because I'm like, man, I really want to hear his opinion.
That's great information, right?
I really want to hear his opinion. I really want to hear his point of view and his perspective. This is somebody who's saving your life and the lives of people that are choosing not to be vaccinated. I want to hear what he goes through every day and how he's seeing it and what perspective he's seeing it from. So very interesting.
Yeah.
So I know Connie works for a staffing agency, and she said she has a dramatic foot traffic now. Hey, I need a job. I know I didn't call you back for 6 months, but I need a job now.
Yeah, I was on I browse Indeed and Google Jobs and Monster Jobs and all that. There's a lot of jobs that are working from home now. So and they're hiring, like here, I'm seeing jobs starting at $25 an hour and up. So, I mean, there's jobs out there to work from home. I know not everybody has the skills, but I see a lot of their requirements are, basically, did you graduate? Can you read?
Background test.
Right.
Pass the drug test, you're in.
They don't even, half of them don't even have a drug test on there anymore.
Right.
It's just, can you pass a background?
Did it. I know she's got COVID right now, so hope you're feeling better. And you bounce back, because she's got the vaccine and she's got COVID. Extra money way, in my opinion. Yeah. Well, you knew that was going to happen. So.
Yeah.
So
Gray retrain is done. Has ended.
The Supreme Court declines to block Texas restrict abortion law, dealing with the blowback from Roe versus Wade. I was on the phone last night with Tori, and Narissa was just all over it. She's like, I don't think this should, they're trying to, I think what she was trying to say was after 4 to 6 weeks, you couldn't get an abortion anymore. She was just, that's bullshit. A woman doesn't know at 4 to 6 weeks. To be honest with you, and I've said it many, many times, publicly, privately, it's a woman's body. She should be able to do what she wants to do. It should not be dictated by a politician. Politicians should not tell a woman whether she can get an abortion or not. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, I posted something this morning in regards to being pro-choice and pro-life, and pro-abortion, and it had a lot of good points in it. Down from the woman who was raped and realized that her assailant planted his seed in her. The woman who found out that her infant after 20 weeks was being developed without life-sustaining organs. The 11-year-old that was raped, and now she has to bear this child. A woman whose placenta hemorrhaged, and she's in a coma, and now her family, spouse, and parents have to make the decision: should they save her or her unborn child? You know, and it just went on, like even down to the woman who went through IVF and ended up with 6 implantable eggs, and it's not safe for her to carry, but they're going to force her to do it anyways. I mean, there's just so many different variables, and it's not black and white. You know, they instantly want to say, oh, you're a murderer. Well, you know, someone else had a good point this morning, and they said, if I'm in a coma and I have a heartbeat, but I'm not a sustainable life, is that murder when you pull the plug on me? And she had, you know, her points were just really spot on. Shout out to Jen Rose. She, you know, she said there's a difference between being, you know, pro-life and actually caring about the life that's carrying this fetus that isn't necessarily a life yet. If you don't have a vagina, you shouldn't be able to conduct and speak on what somebody should do with their reproductive system and, you know, how they carry out the term. It should never be somebody else's choice. It should never be the government's choice. And like you said last night when your daughter was on the phone and I could hear her, she was going in, and she's so right. You know, these people are looking at it like, oh, you just want to kill a baby. That's not the case. There's so many variables. There's so many different things. Or was she talking about when they stand outside the abortion clinics and they're harassing people and doing all these things when really they should be educating women or being supportive, because these are usually decisions that are so hard, unbelievably hard to make.
Right.
It's sad. Scary. It's scary to be a woman right now.
So GM shutting down production at most of the plants in North America. General Motors will be shutting production down at most North America plants for the next 2 weeks. So once again, they're having a chip shortage. So they're shutting down the plants.
They're having a what? Oh, the chip shortage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what is going on and where they're coming from, Japan, China, whatever. But yeah, this is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
COVID.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Ford,
things that are.
same thing with Ford. They did
And
a
Chrysler.
2-week shutdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all did a 2-week shutdown.
Mm-hmm. This is the second one in like the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and they did it last was it like December, I think it was too. It happened again. December and February. But
yeah, I have a friend who works for Chrysler, and she
COVID
was shut down
all of that.
August, and now in September.
So I scared the shit out of my uncle, and I told him, guess what? You can't go to Florida anymore because they're going to fine you $5,000. He's like, fuck them. So actually, it was I bullshit a little bit on the story. COVID vaccines will be asked for proof. It's a $5,000 fine, but it's for businesses. So they're workers, government workers, employees. So they're going to be asking their businesses. They're actually not going to be asking, common citizens, do you have your vaccine proof? And they're going to fine you. So they're going to fine businesses.
Wait, so they're allowed to ask their employees. They're just not allowed to ask the patrons that come in?
Correct.
Okay.
So it's going to be starting September 16th. They will start fining in the state of Florida businesses if their employees are not vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Did
you see the airline? What was the airline that said they weren't going to force their workers to be vaccinated?
I don't know. Was it a Southwest?
Maybe it was American. Don't quote me, but it's one of them. But if you Google it, it'll come up. And now they're charging They said they weren't going to force them, and they were like, "Oh, this is amazing."
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't mention that they're going to charge each employee $200 per paycheck.
Oh, that was that knockoff line airlines. I think that.
No, I think it was.
Was it called Blue
or
something? Okay.
No, it was a big airline.
Let me see if I can find it.
No, because everybody was praising them for not doing this, right? They weren't gonna make their employees
your pocketbook. They're gonna hurt your pocketbook.
Right. So, but they didn't let they praised them for not doing it, and then wham, the employees got hit $200 fine each payroll.
So I know this is a big question. Is asking for proof a HIPAA violation? No, it's not. So just to let people know, I know it was in the media. Is it a HIPAA violation? No, it's not, because they're not asking you for your medical records. All they're asking you, are you vaccinated? And anybody can ask you that. So even the high school, they'll ask, or schools, is your child vaccinated? So they can ask that. And if anybody doesn't know HIPAA, you cannot disclose your health personal information, because if it's against that, it's a violation, and they can get into serious trouble. So it is not a HIPAA violation, just to let people know. And basically what you said.
Yeah, somebody had asked me that, my opinion on that, and they were having good points as well. When again, back to having a driver's license, they ask you, do you wear contacts, right? Do you wear glasses? Do you wear contacts? Your hearing, your vision. And someone said, well, that's not a violation of HIPAA law. It's to be able to get a driver's license. And I mean, when you think about it, they're right. Like, these are certain things that they're asking you, but they're not asking you to disclose the specifics of it. So it's a fine line. But again, this is a global health issue, and I tagged you guys in. Did you guys see that breaking news report I tagged you in yesterday? And he said on there, until there's no problems anywhere, then the entire world is in a pandemic. It's not just, China's doing bad, or, US is doing bad, or this one. We're all in this. And unless they're going to seize travel to each place, it's just going to continue to spread until we all come to one common ground.
Right.
I don't understand why people don't want to try to be part of the solution.
Right.
Or what is their solution? To just let people die, or let themselves die? Or I don't know. So many questions.
So Hurricane Ida storms pounds New Jersey. I mean, there's serious floods in the East Coast. 9 killed, and the wreak havoc. So, I mean, floods are everywhere in the East Coast. Pretty crazy. I'm going to bring this up.
Mother Nature's upset with us.
Yeah. Where'd Alice go? Yeah.
He had to go.
Huh?
He said bye-bye. He'll be back.
He said he had to go pee-pee?
Probably. Pee-pee in the body.
There's some East Coast, but look.
Oh, man. Where is this?
New Jersey.
Oh my God, he's standing out there?
Serious floods right there. Looks like
scary shit right there.
Yeah, kind of scary.
Is that a person standing out there?
Yeah, somebody was standing on the hood. Somebody was standing on the hood of the car.
Oh shit.
We were just showing all the devastation that Hurricane Ida was doing to New York,
man.
floods, and
I seen an
people saying-
aerial shot of that, and that looked crazy. That shot looked told it all, man.
Insane.
Yeah, definitely. Prayers and love to New York, all the New Yorkers, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we'll move on to wrestling. The first one, wrestling.
I'm ready.
XW. I know we talked about it a little bit, but WCW star Daphne died at 46. Alex, I saw that video. She gained so much weight, pretty chilling.
Yeah,
she basically like she was going to kill herself in that video, and I think it probably happened.
No, she did. That's exactly what she did. You know what was? I went to her.
Sounded like she was talking to her two voices.
Yeah. There was a lot of things going on, and like I said, we watched her. I mean, she was like a trendsetter. You know what I mean? She was one of the first females to her and Luna. Remember Luna with the braids and all that, to start to make people actually, it was cool to be grunge and gothic and all that type of stuff. So, and you know what? I don't know why, like the number one thing, her name, they used to call her the Scream Queen, which I thought was a cool name, but I forgot the number one thing that was the number one thing I loved when we used to watch WCW. Remember Drake? She'd be on the outside, pretty much playing the manager role sometimes, and she would just scream out of nowhere, and I used to just start cracking up. I loved it.
Right.
Like, oh my God, that shit was so crazy. And on TV, it sounded like someone was downstairs screaming. Like it was crazy. But yeah, it was
she'd
real
do it
sad.
to just scare the shit out of them. Shock value.
Out of the ordinary, out of nowhere, and when you don't even expect it, I used to just be like, "What the hell?" I mean, me and Drake used to watch that, and I kind of stopped watching the Thunder and all that once it started going downhill, and Vince McMahon, before he bought them out, and Drake was still watching that, and I was like, oh my God, like, three guys, like 3 count, and I was like, what do you still like this shit, man?
Right.
We were just wrestling fans. Any wrestling we could get, we would watch. So, but yeah, so I went to her Twitter, and I went through her Twitter, and she was trying so hard, and some of the things was just like, oh my God. And a couple of the interviews I listened to and podcasts I listened to were I mean, it's always somebody that has a heart of gold that this happens to, and all Mark Henry, Dave LaGreca, who used to do ESPN, now he's doing a wrestling podcast with him, was just saying she called him. She would text and call him every birthday on his since they known each other. So she was one of those type of people, and I mean,
so sad to think that she thought she was alone, and she felt alone.
And that's what he said. What they said, she had tons of friends that loved her and adored her and looked up to her, and it's just so sad. And before we get off, I'll say, like, I'm gonna share a couple things in the link, and I mean, most people, a lot of, sometimes we're smiling, somebody might be smiling right in front of you, but you have no idea how they're feeling.
So it's ex-WCW star Daphne.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, other than us entertaining people and doing this show, letting for people's days to cruise by and take their minds off of things, we're also here to if anyone, we're a friend. We're a friend of everyone that tunes into this show. So if you're never alone. We're all here for you, and this is one of the reasons that I wanted to do a podcast, to help out, spread the word in any way. And if you're ever feeling alone or anything like that, or someone you want to talk, you can call in, you can DM us individually if you want, and if you feel comfortable with that. But we are here for you. I just wanted to say that, and don't ever feel like you're alone, no matter who you are, what you're going through. So. Devastating.
Yeah, reach out. You definitely have a friend in us.
Thanks, Alex. That's great.
Yeah.
So Rikishi, Nate's killed in shooting. Wrestler begs for help finding suspect.
Oh, so sad.
I didn't even see this story till you posted it. I did not even see that.
Yeah, I didn't see it until he posted
wow.
it as well.
Yeah. I guess they didn't catch him. I did a little research, and so I went on to Twitter and retweeted his post and got the reward up there. I think there was 3 of them, 3 suspects, if I'm not mistaken. But
She was only 16.
Yeah, she was a baby.
Jeez.
They're offering a $50,000 reward for anything that could help find the shooter. He put, "Please help find these motherfuckers."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rikishi is the man. He ain't no joke, man. That's
yeah.
Hopefully they do find him, and
Yeah, it says on Friday,
July 3rd.
Somebody knows something. Somebody knows something. They need to speak up. You know, it's such a taboo. People don't, in the hood, they're like, oh, we're not speaking up. You know, they take an oath of silence, but this is a baby that was killed. You don't take an oath of silence when it comes to women and children, especially women and children. You know, you do what's right, and they need to be brought to justice. She needs justice for sure.
It happened on July 30th in 6:45 p.m. in the San Francisco area.
Yeah,
wow.
In the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, "Bring justice. Find these motherfuckers." So this was another sad story, and I don't mean to go into the sad story thing, but last night Alex posted it. I was like, wait a minute. Boxer Jeanette Zapata, 18, dies after sustaining head injury in her bout.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think dehydrated, Alex?
Crazy, man. No, man. I mean, she was getting beat up pretty bad in that fight, really early, and I don't know, man. I mean, that, I guess that just goes to show you that the boxing and the damage and that can happen even in the early stages before they become professionals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know what? Not to go bounce back to the Daphne story, but I forgot to say, like, in the video, and I almost wish I wouldn't have watched it, but when she said that to send her, she had said in the video, send my brains go to Boston. The reason she said that, I was just assuming that was where her hometown was, but she was saying that because, like, once again, there you go, just always, like, my man Dave LaGreca said, once again, Daphne being Daphne and thinking about others before herself. And I was just like, wow. So yeah, for the research and CTE or anything else that they could find. So yeah, and to come back to the boxer, the female boxer, I guess she had got, I don't know if she got knocked down the one time. I only watched clips of it, but when she got knocked out the before she had actually had a seizure, so that's when they had to rush her to the hospital. And
during the fight she had a seizure.
Yeah, when she got knocked out, I believe she had started having a seizure. And and God, I went on Twitter and I already know what to expect sometimes. And I came across
such motherfuckers on there, I swear.
Everybody was being positive, and then there's always that one person
asshole
tagged her opponent in and said, basically just called her a murderer. And I'm just like, why? Like, can you imagine how she feels? And she had already sent out a statement, sending her respect and prayers and stuff like that to the family and everything. So how can you? I mean, just that made me really sick to my stomach. How can you, like, you don't know what she's going through. I mean, how she feels, like she wanted that to happen, like,
no,
just horrible thing to
even
say.
Though they were opponents, that they were still a team. You're in the same sport. Your goal is the same. You have that mutual respect when you're in a sport that you're alone, and you're a sole competitor against others. This, at the end, they still love each other, and they would never want that to happen for either one of them. I can't even imagine the burden she's carrying right now, and just the feeling of guilt, right?
It's crazy.
Even though I know I'm sure she knows, but again, her blows, man, how terrible of somebody.
I was just like,
fucking
how
terrible.
can you find somebody, you know, where do they pull these words, bullshit words out from their body, man? Like,
cowards.
But, and
cowards.
she was basically, and she was 18 years old, and she was married. She was already married, and just so sad. So, yeah, definitely condolences to them. And yeah, I just felt like this one made me angry, but you know, I was trying to be respectful at the same time. And I've had so many people.
That's why I try to stay off. You know, I say people follow me on Twitter, but I'm so bad about going on there because Twitter and TikTok, I swear to you, they get me so mad sometimes from their comments that they got me wanting to buy one of those, what are those, web ID scanners and find out where the fuck you live. I'm that person. Like, I'm going to show the fuck up at your house. I'm going to spend this $850 to get this scanner right the fuck now. Get my debit card. I'm fucking finding this asshole. Like, that's me. So I have to get off of there because you're going to end up reading about me.
You be trending out here. #1.
Yes, these people out here wilding out with their words and their hurtful, you know, tongue. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Keyboard gangsters. It's like,
Keyboard gangsters.
Not where I'm from. We roll the fuck up. Like, I gotta stop myself.
I
gotta stop myself. I call you guys. I'm about to go to jail. I found the address. I'm already in the truck.
Like, I'm over here with a nail in the back.
Right? I got my wood. Got a tarp, bleach, wood chipper. Where the fuck are you going?
Wood chipper?
All of the above.
Wood chipper.
I think
and an alibi.
I think this is you, Tori. I'm going to put it on the screen.
Okay.
I was at the wrestling show.
Hold on. I want to
put alibi. I was at the wrestling show.
This is my favorite.
Every time.
There it is. This is you at looking. Are you
want to kick some ass?
Yeah.
Do you post as Magnolia fan on moviepoopshoot.com?
Yeah.
Did you write? Fuck Jay and Silent Bob. Fuck them and their stupid asses.
That's my face too. Oh.
How many people want to kick some
Over the head with it.
Jay and Silent Bob are quote fucking clown shoes.
That shit is.
Kick the shit out of them for being so stupid.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that you, Tori? You had
It's totally me. It's totally me.
You're the one that's
so much satisfaction watching that just now. Man.
Are you this person?
Is this you? Right. Do you go by Slutty Moms? Did you say this? Time to kick your ass.
So your boy Jake Paul, Alex, says, you know what? Psych.
I'm keep posting these things on our news page.
I'm coming out of retirement. I lied.
My 22-hour retirement.
Oh my goodness. Let me do my Home Alone and shit.
Shocked.
I wish there was something on DraftKings.
To roll up on him.
I would have bet on it. I would have been.
Hey, Dad. I just saw my dad said hi. Hey, Dad. Shout out to my dad. He's in the hospital right now getting checked out. Yeah. So they better be taking care of you or we're going to roll the fuck up.
Oh, no. Oh, boy.
Let the hospital know your daughter will roll the fuck up.
So the underspec of the boxing world, Canelo Alvarez says he's leaving to open the door for Jake Paul fight, just not right now.
Right.
What the fuck is when Canelo?
This is some publicity ass shit.
He's planting seeds.
He's
but you know
sprinkling
what?
seeds.
I'll tell you what. If he feels like he is that ready, I would love to see him get in there he wants his career to end short like that, and instead of being smart and start handpicking people, go ahead. He would get knocked out so fast. I would definitely do it round 2 or 3 knockout. On that one. He's not ready.
Yeah.
He's not ready. There's no way
ain't
he's ready for that, man. But good job on planting those seeds. So
right, he's strategical, just like we said before. He's very calculated.
Did you happen to click on SmackDown yesterday? Did you see who was on there?
What part? yeah, I know, right?
And you know what's so funny?
I'm so not a fan of him. He gets on me. He fucking irks me.
I love, and you know what? That's what I love though, because I was
know
like,
you do. Those are your people.
When he came out, I'm like, that's the sound that a bad guy in professional wrestling is supposed to get. When he came out, that shit was, you would have thought like The Rock came out back in '97.
Right. They don't like him.
Despise that guy, and he just he's so poised and handles the mic well and all that. But
he's a good villain.
Very annoying.
He's definitely a good villain.
Yeah, that was funny yesterday though. That segment was real funny with Baron Corbin. That shit.
That
shit is hilarious. But they're doing their things, man. Whatever.
They're hitting all the angles.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm interested to see who he can. You know, that was the biggest fight. He went 8 rounds. That showed that he can go the distance a little. You know, so I mean, I want to see it. I want to see. No, I ain't mad at him.
Guy. I'm not mad at him.
He's getting better. He's getting better. I'll hey, make that payday, make that money, man. It's all good, you know. But you know, Canelo is just like a puppet, man. You know, like just relax, kid. Relax.
Right. Have a seat. Take a seat.
He's doing him a favor by saying that.
Right. Throw a little bone.
So this is a 2-part thing staying in the boxing world.
That's big money.
Oscar De La Hoya says
that's a big bag.
Raped when he was a teenager, and the same day he was saying he was hospitalized after contracting coronavirus. The 98-year-old boxer has pulled out of the fight. So he was raped. Like he released that story, and then he was in. So does that explain the fishnets?
Yeah, I always knew there was something behind that, man. I always knew there was something behind that. I didn't know what, but yeah, 35-year-old woman. He said when he was it 15, I believe, 15 years old. He was traveling for a boxing tournament or something like that. But yeah, I mean, like they always got a backstory, man. He didn't look too good, man. I feel for him because he was busting his ass in the gym. So I definitely feel for him, man.
COVID, I've been taking care of myself. This really, really kicked my ass.
So he pulled out of the fight, and that fight has been.
So he was hospitalized the same day he made this announcement.
I think it was the day before.
Oh,
right. Yeah, I think it was like a day prior. But man, the rains of pores, man. I hope speedy recovery for the Golden Boy.
You said this was by a woman that did this to him?
Yeah. He didn't mention her name.
Well, you know, and it's crazy because it's you know, it's something that needs to be addressed. You always think that it's just a woman being raped by a man, right?
Yeah.
Or that it's a man being raped by another man, like it's a gay attack, right? Or it's you know, homosexual
and you know how
attack.
They talk about him, Tori. Not sorry to cut you off, but you know how they talked about. You've been at fight parties and they talked about De La Hoya. The guy, all the women are screaming for him, and all the guys are calling him the G word. And you know, little do they know. Now here you see what like. Jeez, you know.
Yeah, he the trauma that he's suffered. Like, how can you be so, you know?
Right now, how do you feel now?
Have no empathy for him. How can you not have empathy for him? And to know that you know bashed him when. Oh man. But
Well,
to go back to the fact of thinking that only women are raped by men and men are raped by men, women rape too. Women are predators as well. So never discredit somebody's, story. And it's hard these days because there's so many people, you look at the stories that are coming out, they're saying, oh, I was raped 65 years ago. I was raped, snat. And you'd never want to discredit a victim's trauma. Right. So, we all become, it's fucked up because we all become judgy, right? We're judging them. Oh, sure. Why'd you wait this long? But you don't know what traumas happen or their healing process or what point they are in their life where they have to speak their truth, right? Maybe they were being silenced. Maybe they weren't ready to speak their truth. Maybe they were scared to speak their truth, or they were going through something where they were trying to fight it, sweep it under the rug. It never happened. But you can only put so much stuff in the dark before it comes to light.
Right. And that's what he said too. That was the exact, pretty much the line that he used. He said, for a very long time, he didn't dwell on it. He didn't think about it. And then, he's just going along being the golden boy. And then, all of a sudden it'll pop in his head and he's like, wow, how am I going to get through this? It's just out of nowhere. So yeah.
Subconscious and the brain are a very powerful thing, and they can keep things masked for a long time, but eventually they will come to light, and you have to address them, or you're going to continue to relive this trauma until it's addressed.
And people always say, why won't they just quit? Why won't they just retire and go, relax on the beach or whatever? Well, maybe this is why, because he feels more at home and comfortable when he's in the ring. Maybe and he's trying to get away from
maybe he feels safe.
Trauma.
Maybe he feels safe in the ring.
So you never know. Maybe it ain't always for money or or for that spotlight. Maybe it's
maybe the ring is his therapy.
Exactly. Well said.
He feels safe there. Yeah, well,
Sensations.
Get through this COVID quick.
For sure.
Sorry, Jake. Sorry to interrupt.
You're good. We'll move on to the NBA Pistons trade Sekou. I can't pronounce his last name. The Nets.
Bless you.
Second round.
Good Zoom tight.
So what's up with this trade, man? It looks like they're trying to clear more cap space.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think? What do you think about it? I mean, obviously, Trader Troy, he's doing the damn thing, man, and he loves those second round picks. You got 4 of them. Building. Now, when I read it, I thought I assumed that we would keep DeAndre Jordan, but I see that we're gonna buy him out, and he's supposedly gonna sign with the Lakers. So it's basically a favor for a favor because they're getting a couple guys from us. I mean, man, those 4 picks, I love it. I think it's just another big trade that's going to get us back to the promised land a lot quicker, like fans want. So, yeah, man, Trader Troy. What'd you think about it, though?
Well, I didn't see much of the summer league, but
right.
Like the way it looked like was that they were just have space and get in and get more younger. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and you know what, you had brought up, talking about buying a championship and stuff like that, and you know what? There's once again, man, there's a lot of things. Like I was reading in this trade, they obviously the Nets are made the deal with the Pistons because LaMarcus Aldridge is coming out of retirement, a real retirement. So, I had read that when I'm trying to find his name. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, friends with DeAndre Jordan. They took when he went over there a couple years ago, 2019, I believe. They took a pay cut so that they can make more room for them to get other players and stuff. So, just wanted to talk about touch on that real quick because a lot of people always say, oh, they're trying to buy this team and do this and that. Similar to Tom Brady, but I mean, Tom Brady took pay cuts too, guys like, you know, Stafford and Kelvin, they did it too to be able to bring in players to help the team. So, but yeah, it works out for all three teams, man. So I love it.
You love it, huh? So the NBA has my shit froze. Back to it. Oh, there it is. The NBA memo proposed a strict COVID-19 protocol for unvaccinated players. Unvaccinated players will have a locker room as far away from possible from unvaccinated team players. Will not have to eat, fly, or ride a bus different sections of the part of the league, anticipating COVID-19 health safety protocols. You think this is the right move that the NBA is doing? Separate everybody?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tori?
I do. I think it's the right move. I mean, again, this is such a hard, fine line, but I'm all about being part of the solution, not the problem. And I don't care how much money you make on your paycheck. You're all going in the same size box when you leave, right? So if you make that much money off of people coming to visit you or watch you do your job, whatever you want to call it, I said visit, but come fans, all that, then you, I think, should be held to a higher standard. So if you want this, to continue for you, and this is your job, then you need to adhere and be part of the solution. And if not, you're going to be segregated, separated out.
Part. I love that. Be part of the solution, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Especially with that paycheck, like fans,
right?
Of all the things, like
really,
you should be held to a higher standard. You're being paid
I'm sure
by people who are being brave enough to get it to get vaccinated, to be able to go out and enjoy and be a little safer in their life and feel a little more secure about their safety and the well-being of others. And they're paying you to watch you. You should do the same in respect.
Exactly. Because you're spending your hard-earned dollar, and you want to.
Absolutely.
Don't you want?
A lot of people live check to check and still spend it to come see you.
Exactly.
So
what are you doing? Yeah.
So as we're heading into the first week of the NFL season, NFL will allow social justice phrases on helmets this season. Black Lives Matter. That type of stuff. What's your thoughts,
cool.
Alex?
I like that. I don't know if you guys pulled it up, but I was going to ask you guys what, not that it matters, it's all positive, but I was like, which one would you put on your helmet if you were to play?
What are the options?
It's
end racism, stop hate. It takes all of us. Black Lives Matter, inspire change. I love that, inspire change.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was either that one or stop hate for me. Because hate is just sums it all up to me. But
right.
The
whole helmet be filled.
Hard to pick one, but
it really is.
I think that's really cool.
Because I like that it takes all as well.
Right. And I know this means a lot more than on the field antics, but it just kind of crossed my mind. I'm like, okay, well, they're letting them express themselves in this way, and it's positive. That's fine. Why they can't express themselves on the field? Like, you know what I mean? Like every time, if I scored a touchdown or tackled somebody, I would just point to my whatever's on my helmet.
I just point to it.
That'd be my first taunt, or not taunt, but little thing that I would do.
Your statement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just point to my phrase. That's pretty cool, though.
So we'll move on to the MLB. Legend Johnny Bench tested positive for COVID to miss a Hall of Fame ceremony.
Crazy.
So the Big Red Machine, his own Johnny Bench, 73 years old, tested positive for COVID, and that
sucks, man. That sucks.
And he has been vaccinated.
He is.
Can't go to the. God, he busted his ass 17 years, man. The greatest catcher in
You
history.
go to the Hall of Fame, right?
And you cannot go. I was like, man, that just sucks. I don't know what else to say about it. but I
Are you
hope
guys
he
getting the
gets
third
better.
shot?
I am.
Are you getting the third shot,
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I have to look into it. I almost kind
Been
of
thinking about it this
went over
week.
my head, but
Yeah, just trying to decide whether to get it right before we go, Tori. Like,
I know, me too.
protect ourselves.
right.
We
Well, the
want-
smart thing to do would be to get it. So, I mean, I would think.
You know, I
You
just
don't wanna
spoke with a woman who I speak to often at a call center, and I caught her. She said, "Oh, good thing you caught me. I just got the third shot. I'm headed home today. I'm
Wow.
not feeling well." And I'm like, "Oh man!" And I asked her which one she
dreading it
got.
already.
She
Right.
said Pfizer. She said I asked her what her reactions to the first and second were, or the first and second one, and she said the first one she had she was weak and had diarrhea. She said the second one just a sore arm, and I had a terrible reaction to the first Pfizer, and it shut me down for days. I have a bad reaction to all of those things, those foreign things being put in my body. I don't take pills. I don't do all,
Right.
I take a nap, right? I'm that person. I take a nap. I drink ginger. I eat, something holistic, right? I'm like making yam juice and doing like a ritual, right?
I know.
So,
I know that it's so good for you, and I want to try that, but I don't know if I have it in me to try it. But
which one?
The yam juice and things like that. I'm trying to.
It's an acquired taste.
I'm trying to mix stuff with my little workout regimen that I got going on right now.
Carrot juicing and kale and superfoods. So
yeah, I was doing the kale for a while.
I
was doing that for a while.
Yeah, sea moss, all that. Poor Dom. We always joke because he has to ask like, "Hey, what's in the pitcher?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "The pitcher in the fridge." He'll ask before he drinks something. Now he knows better. Now, he's not a drinker, but he ain't trying to take a big old swig of yam juice thinking it's iced tea, right? He's like, I always got to ask her what she's got going on. You be eating some random shit thinking it's potatoes.
Right. Oh God.
Poor kid. We were telling Drake, I made some ginger tea, and when it was hot, I left the sliced ginger on the stove. And Dom is a snacker, so he wakes up at 4 a.m. wanting a snack, and he thinks I made some like gourmet potatoes, and he seasoned up this scalloped, what he thought was a fancy scalloped potato. He was so fucking mad when he bit into this ginger. the look on his face.
He probably just went with the bowl of cereal after that.
He said he's like, I almost threw up. Like, I didn't know. He said it tastes like acetone and wasabi. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He was so mad at me. He's like, man, I fucking seasoned them. I put butter on it.
Seasoned it wrong.
Yeah, popped it in the microwave. He said, I took a big old bite too, ready. I said, you couldn't
hot sauce
smell it burning? He's like, I didn't know. You be making good shit. I didn't know what it was. I was excited. It smelled good, tasted terrible. So now he asks, or I'll have these little I'm big on scents, right? So sometimes I will have little bowls with they're like natural potpourri kind of, but it looks like candy.
Right. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, kid, right? So
I know what you're talking about. Oh my
take a big old handful. He thinks they're orange candies, and it's not so much.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, potpourri rocks. He's like,
potpourri rocks.
You're fucking out of control.
He still ain't learned his lesson, huh? That's crazy.
Oh man, slowly.
We were talking about Cincinnati, and because of Johnny Bench and Tigers spanked him last night.
Bombs away. They're dropping bombs left and right last night.
I'll leave the infield.
Jonathan Schofield one hasn't landed yet.
Grossman, who said he wanted to hit the ball in the air.
This guy, they say he's not going to be on the team, and this guy was injured. He came back,
staying on, tracking the ball.
He gets cold for a game or two. He comes back and he'll do that again.
Fire.
So it's going to be hard to keep Grossman off the team.
64 and 72
Man.
right now. They got about 27, 28 games left. So,
yeah, it's going to be really, really tight. But you know what? I'm happy with the season ending now. I'm pretty happy with, the players that are elevating, and we got, man, they're doing good things in the farm system. Our first round picks, so it's all coming together slowly, slowly but surely.
I just want a ballpark hot dog.
Well, right,
a hot dog. I just want to go on the daiquiri, right? A daiquiri and a hot dog, and the smell.
So that's pretty much all I have for the show. Coming up next Wednesday, I got the calendar up. If you guys don't know, if you go to Word on the Street Pod, you can also subscribe to the show, but also you can see upcoming shows. You have Spotlight Wednesday, 90s sitcoms, what the 90 sitcoms you really miss. You see Seinfeld,
Mash.
Fresh Prince, Growing Pains.
Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld.
Upcoming also guest is candidate. He's running for District 6. Gabriela Santiago Romero. She is a council candidate. Coming up, more shows. Spotlight Wednesday, 10 Best Franchise. You see the Red Wings there. They are named one of the 10 best North American professional franchises. What else we got? We got Raina. She owns a salon in the Lansing area. She's going to be coming on the show. So I just love the calendar. I sent this to Alex, who's the best athlete. He's never won an MVP. That's coming up.
Me. Here, present.
Andres.
Second base and right field.
District 313 recently started his clothing line, and it's on fire. Mm-hmm. Don't forget October 2nd, our 100th episode. The 29th of this month, we're not going to have a show. Just putting it out there. No show. We're taking the show to Detroit, and we're going to join Alex in his bedroom, and we're going to do the show right there from his bedroom.
With the lights off.
That sounded real freaky just now. I was like, did you guys miss on telling me something? Wait a second here.
Wait a minute.
We get real free. We get real nasty.
We're going to
interview my cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally coming to see your pussy cat. Oh.
We're going to interview.
Well, that escalated quickly.
We're going to interview this cat. Don't forget to catch me this Monday for 2 Cents Mondays with Drake Swift. I got special guest, my cousin again, Rito. Raw dogging on the first round, yes or no?
Don't ever say it so excitingly.
Depends on who it is.
You just like
depends on who it is.
You just looked up like, damn, how many girls did I raw dog? Okay, never mind.
It all depends on the circumstances, right?
5:30 Pacific time.
Who it is.
All I have. Thanks again, David, for coming on the show. It was great. I could have kept for hours asking.
Oh, I know, right?
Crazy.
He's got to come back. He's got to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
He told me Bigfoot exists and there is little green men. So there you go.
I've met a few of them.
Yeah, you've been a few. So you
dated a couple.
A couple. Yes. Yes and yes.
You can follow me everywhere at Drake Swift. Any big plans for the holiday, Tori or Alex?
I don't have any really. Oh, go ahead.
gonna go UFO. I'm gonna look for UFOs and any other little creatures I can find. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just gonna relax, man.
I'm
and watch a lot of that. Watch a lot of the Airy Light stuff. I'm not lying. I'm gonna check a lot of that stuff out. So it's gonna be a couch potato.
I'm kind of just chilling today. Today's a little somber day for me. Marks 9 months that my son has been passed. So tomorrow I am starting a 4-week energy healing class.
Awesome.
Tomorrow will be some from at the astrology store. So I'm going there tomorrow evening, and then our other classes will be on a mountaintop.
Oh wow! So how many times do you go a week?
This month, it's just on Sundays for the next 4 Sundays.
That's awesome.
So tomorrow's the first. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I definitely excited about experiencing it and learning to channel certain things and helping in my healing process and helping me channel Zach more and being able to communicate with him more. So I'm pretty excited about that. So, and I wanted to give a quick 2 things. One, I wanted to send out 3 things. One, love out to Ashley Rose still. We are still rooting for her and trusting the process.
Yes.
I wanted to give love and light as well to close friends of mine, Ken, Jacqueline, and Matt Slater. Their grandmother recently passed away, and I know that was a huge blow to their family. She, watching videos of her this morning, and she seemed like a pretty funny, fun, amazing woman. And then I wanted to give congratulations to an old-time friend of mine, Kayla, who got married in Cabo yesterday. She married her best friend, and I'm so excited for her. It's so amazing to see happiness. So, I wanted to give that. And then also to my dad, let me know if the nurses aren't treating you well, because I will roll the fuck up, right? So, other than that, I just wanted to say that. Any plans for you this weekend, Drake?
No, I think we're gonna barbecue tomorrow. That's pretty much it. I mean, I wish it was an 8-day.
You're gonna barbecue a chupacabra or what?
Yeah, I do. I wish it was an 8-day weekend.
Chupacabra tacos. That's cool.
Hairless tacos.
Oh.
My favorite. I'll take extra spikes,
Some
please.
wing bat tacos. Sounds great.
So where can they follow you, Alex?
Well, you know what? Alex Sportsmouth on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm thinking about going back to, it'll probably get changed again to Sportsmouth 313 since he's still on our flyers. I'll stop playing games with you folks.
Stop playing games with your life and just go back.
But right. But yeah, that's about all I got. And like I mentioned earlier, if anyone out there is going through a rough time, you're feeling alone or anything like that, we are here. Word on the street is here for you. We got your back. So I just wanted to throw that out there again. And like I said,
slide in our DMs. We're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna share the suicide hotline thing, and just put it up in there. So yeah, everybody stay safe. God bless. Have a great weekend, and do all the subscribing for the show and everything. And we definitely appreciate it. And that's all I got there.
Tori, where can they follow you?
You can follow me, Tori Rochelle, on Facebook, at All Beauty All Beast on Instagram, and The Savage Kitty, that's THEE Savage Kitty, on Twitter. While you're out there, just make good choices, guys, and treat everyone with kindness.
I love your shirt, Alex. It just reminds me of Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, rock and roll. 101 the riff. I don't know.
Baby. You got to get the baby.
There you go. There you go.
There it is.
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
I had to get deep down in
Right. Appreciate that. You guys have a good one for sure.
Got you.
All right, let me pop this video.
Send me some of that healing energy.
I will.
Oh, happy birthday to my
Happy birthday to who?
Happy birthday to my dad. He would have been 78 years old as of yesterday. So
Happy
miss you,
heavenly
love
birthday
you, and thank you.
to
I
your guardian
appreciate your
angel.
comments
Or
from you
over
guys. Thank you.
Make sure you guys are
We're going to channel him too.
wearing your mask and always washing your ass. You guys
Be prepared to laugh.
We're going to laugh together.
You guys have a good one.
Awesome. God bless.
Bye.